going on there, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, actually. It is the Earthmaster here on the live stream on this beautiful Saturday. It's weekend, March 5th, 2022 is the date, about 12:51 p.m. California time. And latest quake on the globe shows a 2.4 earthquake coming in. Let's see here. Actually, it looks like we just got that updated there, a 3.4 coming in into the region of the world here. Let's go ahead and check out specifics of this earthquake that just came in to the globe. 3.4 earthquake. I do have the bells quieted down. They're muted right now, so hopefully they won't be popping back up automatically. USGS not showing that earthquake. We do have to go over here to the EMSC map since they are the ones showing the smaller quakes there. With that 3.4 coming in into the area down here, you can see that earthquake in the purple circle. Quite a bit of uptick in activity over the course of the night, ramping up along the west coast. Of course, when we did that update last night, it was pretty quiet. There wasn't a whole lot going on there, but we've seen some uptick in activity along the west coast region. Let's go ahead and check out that movement here. This is the 2.5 and above map, and it does show some activity in the 3 range, 3.4, right around the bodfish area. I'm not for sure exactly how you pronounce that, but north of the Garlock fault zone here. I believe we've seen a little bit of activity in this region yesterday, some smaller quakes. Looks like there was a 1.2 near the Lake Isabella area. Again, this sits just north of the Garlock fault zone, kind of in between these little faults here called the White Wolf fault zone, and also this other fault system here to the east, southern Sierra Nevada fault zone. And there's no doubt fault systems within this range, just not showing it up here on the USGS map, but seeing a little bit of activity ramping up here. Also seen some movement in the 2.5 range up to the northwest, one right smack dab on the creeping section. Well, actually the creeping section of the San Andreas fault here. They call it the creeping section because it kind of, well, it creeps along. You know, it doesn't really, I mean, it does get stuck. It does accumulate stress, but not like the other locked areas, so to speak, up north and down south of here. Hence the creeping section name in the San Andreas fault zone, the plate boundary here. 3.2 near Pinnacles, and just off here, a 2.5 east of the Diablo range. Kind of looks like up here in these foothills. What else we got here in the all magnitudes department? Definitely seen some ramping up of movement for sure around the southern part of the state as well. Talking about the San Andreas fault down here in the south part of the area, just off to the west and to the east here. Seeing some microquakes ramping up here near the Loma Linda area. Seeing a little swarming of activity here. Let's see what we got for the largest quake sequence in this cluster. About a 1.5, couple 1.5s in there appear to be the largest magnitude there on the map. Looks like it's just off of the possibly the Crafton Hills fault zone. There's a couple other different ones in there, but yeah, Crafton Hills appears to be the fault system there at play. Kind of want to check this out here real quick on the map here. On the fault map, kind of gives you a little info on this specific fault system. Let's see if we got it here. Crafton Hills fault zone. Type of fault normal? Question mark maybe. Length about 20 kilometers for the zone. Zone consists of at least 10 faults, each 10 kilometers or less. That's kind of why we see it spread across the map there, where this fault where the swarm's kind of taking place. Let's see what we got. Above, you can see the location of the Crafton Hills fault zone caught in a wedge between the San Andreas fault zone and the San Jacinto fault zone. Indeed, the Crafton Hills fault zone exists because of the actions of these two major faults. The sense of slip for both the San Jacinto and San Andreas fault is a right lateral. Thus, the area between the two near the interception is being pulled apart. When this sort of extensional action exists, normal faults typically develop. All right, so looks like a little area where it's getting pulled apart, so to speak. And it's right there in that little, right there on that map I showed you. Of course, when we zoom in, they disappear, but this is where the Crafton Hills fault system is. So we got a little bit of swarming activity there in that region this morning. and some stretching across to the south here across the plate boundary, the San Andreas Fault. And of course the San Jacinto Fault Zone here looking pretty active today as well. Up in Nevada, of course, man, this was pretty quiet last night. Remember, I don't even think we've seen one earthquake up here. I don't think we've seen any when we were doing the update video last night. Since then, we've had a little swarm of movement kick up here. Got 11 earthquakes around the Tonopah area, just northwest of Tonopah, out here in the desert around Mina. A couple ones and some smaller quakes kicking up there in that area overnight. Northern California, pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot going on up there. Of course, we did see some tremor movement along the center section of the Cascadia subduction zone yesterday up here around Portland and just south here around Medford. I think that's about the third day or so that we've seen tremor activity kind of ramp up in those two regions. So we'll see if this continues today. But looking at the map here, nothing really going on here on the all magnitudes map throughout the Pacific Northwest. Really, really calm conditions. Or quiet. I shouldn't say calm because we're building up stress, right? Obviously building up some stress out there. Sawtooth Fault System. Idaho got quite a few twos. Twos look to be the magic number. Quite a few twos out there, including an upper 2.9 in the Stanley, Idaho area. Yellowstone National Park looks pretty quiet here, at least on this map. Let's go ahead and check out the latest map here from the site here. Is this thing on.org. Pretty cool site that kind of gives you an overview of the Yellowstone area and the seismograph stations that monitor it. Looks pretty... we did have this activity kick up last night. I'm still not for certain what that is. We haven't seen any added quakes in the region. But there's definitely something going on over here around the eastern part of the park. I'll keep looking for that as time goes on. As far as swarming goes, any type of movement, it looks like we may be coming to a complete halt in the swarming department, at least around the Lake Yellowstone area. Looking at the Grant Village map here, shows only a couple overnight, couple small, very small microquakes locally to this station. But things just kind of dying off right now with the activity there at Yellowstone. See what else we've got here. Texas was ramping up yesterday, 4.3. Looks like they did have another 3.3 afterwards, but nothing overnight. And Oklahoma, things kind of calming down out there. The weather definitely not calming down around Iowa. Good portion of Iowa in a... actually, this whole area is going to be under the gun over the next couple days, but Iowa is in a tornado watch. So they got a good portion of Iowa in a tornado watch today. So be weather aware if you are in the Iowa area. Actually, this whole area is kind of covered in a severe weather threat today. So just a heads up. Stay safe out there. It's getting to be that time of year. For some folks like me, I enjoy it. Just hope everyone stays safe out there and no lives are lost this year due to any weather-related events. Some earthquake activity, 3.7 in the Puerto Rico region, right, pretty close to the Puerto Rico Trench, 89 kilometers down into that region. South America overnight, pretty quiet. Did have 5.7 though in the... Oh, that one's pretty deep, 247 kilometers for that 5.7. This one's overnight. I forgot about this one. It did have some activity following that movement as well. I was sleeping when that one came in. Had some further movement way up north of 5.1. But overall, generally, a lot of deep earthquake activity here in this center of the South America region. Down south here through the Chile area, though, looks pretty quiet across the board as far as USGS activity goes. But remember, we kind of like to go over here to the EMSC model and just verify any lack of movement or movement in general. There's quite a few 3s and 2s up and down the board here when it comes to the smaller quakes. What do we got here for Hawaii out here in the Pacific? Southeast region kicking up once again, even though it's only about 14 earthquakes or so in the area. One little quake up here around Mauna Loa, no major changes to report there at the Hawaii Islands and in the Kermadec Trench. Some deeper activity again, 4.3, 4.4. Quite a few deep quakes here in the region. Of course, this area very typical of deep movement, and that's kind of continuing over the last 24 hours. Up around the northern end of the Java Trench, got 5.1, and that looks like another 5.5 in that area. Still think this one's going to be building up something here pretty soon. It's been similar to the Japan Trench and the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. This area here accumulates quite a bit of stress in a short amount of time, and I think we're looking at two of those possibilities of seeing some larger quakes pretty soon. Japan Trench specifically, getting a little bit of that swarming kicking up once again here off the coast into the Japan Trench, although defaulted to about 10 kilometers, 5.1 and a 4.7. This area has seen some movement over the last week or so, mainly up north, just to the northern end of the Japan Trench and the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, southern end, seeing a pretty good amount of swarming activity around the Kuril Islands, with about 12 earthquakes or so in the 4 range, even a couple 5s in there during that swarm last week. Russia pretty quiet. They did have one earthquake way up here last night, 4.4, but overall Middle East pretty quiet. One earthquake out here around the Italy area, had a 4.4, 170 kilometers deep. That's some pretty deep earthquake activity. Kind of want to see what we got for historical movement out here. It's in that area where they see quite a bit of well, you get some larger earthquakes in the shallow department, and also some deeper movement as well in the gray circles. These are some really deep earthquakes over here further to the west, but yeah, definitely not abnormal to get some deep movement there in that region. Let's see what else we got here today, folks. I think that's about it. I want to check out the solar weather while we're on it. We did have some sunspots kicking up here on the sun. Let me get that site pulled up here real quick. Let's see, there's those sunspots, 2957, 2961, Earth side facing us right now. Direct bullseye if anything were to pop off. 2960 is growing, although not super dynamic when it comes to the threat potential. Right now, only we got 75% chance of a C flare. It's starting to sparkle a little bit, sparkle in the flaring department, and M flare at 25% chance. X flare has bumped up a little bit to a 5% chance, but I doubt if that's likely. Earlier this morning did have a G1 class storm kick up here. That's kind of unexpected in this solar weather department, but it looks like it may be tapering off here now. Still holding steady though with that storming potential there, 50% chance higher latitudes for that activity over the next couple nights here. A little bit less, but still elevated with the KP index of 3 to 4 over the next few nights. All right, folks, I'm going to jump off here, cut this a little short. Got somewhat of a busy day, so going to be out and about. We will chat at you guys a little bit later on this evening with the update video, a 2.0 coming in right now to the SoCal area, looks like. Southern California region. So just be on guard, stay safe out there. EMSC models do show activity out here in the New Zealand area. Didn't get a chance to check that out on the GeoNet, but we will tonight. And of course, swarming activity does continue throughout the Indonesia region. In this area right here, you can see that massive amount of 3s and 2s mixed in there, quite a few 4s as well. Still looking at that area. It's been like that for the past couple days, so just be on guard, stay safe, and enjoy your weekend. And as I mentioned, watch out for that severe weather out there. I know people that live out there, they're used to it, but you know, things can change in the blink of an eye when it comes to the tornado threat, which I believe is at about 10% chance today around the Iowa area. So be safe and just stay weather aware for sure. Have a good day, folks. We will chat you later tonight. Peace out.